of Public Service and Administration. Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, House Chair, the Deputy Minister Pinky Kekane, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee and members of the Portfolio Committee, leaders of different institutions that form the family of Public Service and Administration. Good afternoon. House Chair, I rise to present to your esteemed House the Department's budget for the year 2026-27, which is 596,722,000. This budget, Chair, provides for the Department itself, the National School of Government, Public Service Commission, and the Center for Public Service Innovation. It's also understood, Chair, that our mandate extends to the Government Employees Medical Scheme, and these institutions form the portfolio of the Ministry of Public Service and Administration. House Chair, I'm rising not only to table the budget, but also to reaffirm our national commitment to build a capable, ethical, and developmental state that works for all South Africans. This budget is about the state that South Africa intends to become. It's a statement rather about whether public institutions can still command trust and whether public authority can still exercise ethically. This budget votes about restoring confidence in public institutions. It's about our collective endeavor to bring about, quote-unquote, transformative change in building a state that works for everyone. House Chair, this budget vote is tabled a defining moment in the democratic evolution of public administration in South Africa. We are tabling this budget before this august House following two major legislative milestones for the public service and our country. His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa has assented to the Public Service Amendment Act 2025 and the Public Administration Amendment Act 2025, respectively. These, House Chair, are not technical amendments, but structural reforms designed to strengthen accountability, to improve efficiency of administration, and reinforce the constitutional foundation of professionalism. The Public Service Amendment Act 2025 fundamentally reshapes the accountability architecture of the state. For the first time in the democratic South Africa, the separation between political authority and administrative accountability is being reinforced with a legislative certainty. This is because a professional public service cannot exist where political and administrative lines are indistinct. These reforms therefore restores those lines clearly and decisively. This amendment prohibits heads of department and officials reporting directly to them from holding political office. And this is not just an administrative housekeeping, but a constitutional commitment to a professional and politically independent public service. This amendment is less about excluding or limiting anyone from democratic participation, but more about protecting the integrity, impartiality, and professionalism in the public service. House Chair, when these boundaries collapse, institution weakens and accountability blurs, and citizens end up paying the ultimate price through delayed services, poor governance, and departmental instability. Therefore, this Act clearly vests both administrative and operational powers with heads of department and retains strategic and oversight responsibility with political authority. This will also ensure accelerated decision-making and that accountability follows responsibility, because where accountability is blurred, failure thrives. The Public Administration Management Amendment Act further strengthened the ethical foundation of public administration across all spheres of government. This strengthened mobility and harmonization within the public service. Equally important, House Chair, the amendment strengthened the oversight role of the Public Service Commission in grievance management, ensuring that public servants who raise legitimate concern are treated through fair and transparent process. These acts complement these reforms by advancing seamless and ethical public administration across all spheres. As South Africans experience government as one state and not disconnected institutions that are operating in silos. The Amendment Act also strengthens professional skills deployment across public sector and deepens the role of the National School of Government. These measures are not administrative technicalities, but they are a direct intervention against the culture of corruption that has weakened institutional credibility. Together, these reforms strengthen the institutional integrity of a state and bring in coherent to a governance model that has been operating unevenly for far too long. Honourable Chair, legislation alone does not build a capable state, but strong institutions and leadership does. These reforms are best personified by our 2025 overall Batupile winner, Dr. Na-Ing Su, who is present in this House today. As Chief Executive Officer of Mamelodi Regional Hospital, Dr. Su has turned a struggling facility into a state-of-art center of excellence. His leadership proves that with innovation and unwavering commitment to service, we can overcome systemic challenges. So this budget honors that standard. Here we are investing in a new era of public service and administration, one that is professional, ethical, and entirely dedicated to the people of this country. The Minister of Finance reminded this House that South Africa's growth strategy rests on 4 pillars, which are macroeconomic stability, structural reforms, infrastructural investment, and building state capabilities. This portfolio therefore carries responsibility of the 4th pillar as custodians of systems, standards, and institutions that determine whether state can execute its constitutional mandate effectively. And the center for that public responsibility is trust. Honourable House Chair, the public trust is not built through slogans nor PR exercise. It is built when a nurse arrives at work in a functioning hospital. Trust is built when a pensioner receives dignified service at a government office. Trust is built when a young intern enters the public service, believing that advancement will depend on merits, not on connection. Trust is built when Director Generals understand that authority carries consequence and ethical obligation. This budget vote therefore speaks not only to Parliament, but to every public servant across our country. We are speaking to a cleaner who opens government building before sunrise. We are speaking about an intern entering the public service for the first time, a social worker at a local clinic, a police officer, the municipal manager, and even the Director General at the highest office. The developmental state is built through all of them, and when they succeed, our country succeeds too. This budget vote therefore recognizes that dignity, because a capable state is not built by legislation alone, but people who carry the Constitution into daily practice. This budget, Chair, accounts for 5 institutions of the public administration in South Africa: Department of Public Service Administration, the National School of Government, the Center for Public Service Innovation, the Public Service Commission, and GEMS. Although serving different mandates, but they've got one mission, and that is quote unquote, building a state that works for all. The Department of Public Service Administration therefore remains the engine room of governance reforms. Its responsibility is not abstract policy making, but the construction of standards, norms, and accountability mechanisms upon which the public service depend. So the professionalization framework remains central in this work, and merit-based appointment are not an administrative preference, but a constitutional necessity. As government, we will therefore intensify oversight on senior appointments across departments. Leadership positions in the public sector must be occupied by individuals who are fit and proper, capable of managing complex institutions under difficult circumstances. At the same time, privatization cannot become a narrow technocratic exercise that is detached from ethics. A technically skilled official without integrity is dangerous and can damage the institution profoundly as unqualified one. In our continued fight against corruption, government will intensify lifestyle audit and strengthen consequence management systems across public service. Corruption rarely begins with a single criminal act, Chair. It often begins with interference, manipulation, and compromised decision-making that institutions fail to confront early enough. By institutionalizing the monitoring of integrity risks, government strengthens its ability to identify governance failures before they become systemic crises. We are happy, Chair, to announce that the Central Register for Discipline Cases, discipline management, will now be operational in all spheres of government. For far too long, officials who have been dismissed for misconduct were able to move between departments and other spheres of government without consequence, and that era has to stop. Government will also implement the public service skills audit framework to identify capability gaps across departments. We accept that the developmental state must understand the strengths and weaknesses of its own workforce. Recruitment, training, and workforce planning must be informed by evidence rather than assumption. So this capable state, Honorable Chair, we speak of in the 21st century must be digitally capable. And Deputy Minister, Honorable Pinky Kekane, will talk about this matter lengthily, including the Employees Housing Scheme and the Center for Public Service Innovation. As we advance our effort in building a capable state, the National School of Government has positioned itself not merely as a training institution. It is the institutional bridge between policy ambition and administrative capability. Since its formation, the NSG has trained more than 600,000 individuals across government. That scale, House Chair, reflects an important truth that capable state is built one competent official at a time. Similarly, professionalization requires continuous learning, and that is why government continues to expand compulsory training programs across all levels in the public service. The extension of nuclear programs, compulsory course in financial management, execution discipline, digital transformation and cybersecurity, and the strengthening of municipal training all reflects a broader principle that governance capability cannot remain voluntarily. The NSG's transition towards accredited qualification and structured learning pathways marks a significant institutional evolution. This administration must increasingly be treated, public administration rather, must increasingly be treated as a professional ground of competence, ethics, and continued development. Equally important is the NSG's work in embedding constitutional values and ethics across the broader educational pathways. A state that is serious about integrity cannot wait until misconduct occurs before discussing ethics. And ethical leadership must be cultivated long before appointment into public service. House Chair, I also confirm the formalization of the Ministerial Advisory Committee on Curriculum Development and Quality Assurance,